Hello there. This month's Fried Philosophy is something new, something very special indeed. I'll be covering all 3 essays of Friedrich Nietzsche's on the Genealogy of Morality. I don't think I've ever read anything more than I've read this text, just over and over again. Once a year, studying it, looking at it over, highlighting it. These videos have some commentary, but I'm going to be trying to explain the deeper meanings of what he's getting into. I definitely want to qualify and say I'm no expert in this. This is just what I've found from reading these essays. So let's get started. One thing you should keep in mind about Nietzsche is how his work builds upon itself. These essays are actually meant as a follow-up to his last book, Beyond Good and Evil. Indeed, he references a lot of his older work time and again in these essays. Common to Nietzsche is the need to reevaluate things. And in these essays, he endeavors to find out where morality actually comes from, to reevaluate the origin of morality. He believes we're very wrong in our assumption that it comes from religion or people doing the right thing, and he wants us to stop and look into our past. That way we'll have a better grip on what's to come in the future and what we're supposed to be. It's interesting because he uses his background in history and philology to make his assessments into these inquiries. He takes words like good, and he said people believed they were good in relation to others. This was in prehistory, a bit before society, with early humanity. We were savages, devoid of rationality. Nature dominated and ran wild. The strong overcame the weak because they could. The strong, Nietzsche calls the masters, and the weak are the slaves. He backs this up with the same words in different languages, all having the same significance, the same original meaning. Terms such as noble and aristocratic are associated with good, and low, common, plebeian are associated with bad. So basically you've got humans with more physical prowess calling the shots, because at this time there are no laws. The physically endowed dominated the weak, and these masters set themselves up as what was good. This suffering and subjugation made the slave class feel like shit. Generations of this, Nietzsche believes, is what contributed to the creation of religion. He'll get more into this in the second essay, how suffering was ostensibly responsible for the creation of guilt, memories, and even rationality. But basically the slaves became so clever that they were able to reverse the master morality into what was bad, and the slave morality into what was good. Religion. The weak getting salvation. That the pious, the sick, and the suffering, they were what was good. They were blessed by a deity, whereas the masters were damned, evil, arrogant. They would be sent to hell. The invention of these stories and religion is known as the Slave Revolt in morality, where the slaves took over the masters, not using strength, but cunning. Religion spread, and the master class believed they needed the slaves' religion in order to be spared from hell. Nietzsche believes that the slave revolt in morality was a success because to this day we still have religion. But this origin of where good and bad came from has been long forgotten. So under this context, Nietzsche believes that religion should be amended, seen for what it truly is, if not thrown out altogether. He then compares the two moralities, where the master morality is self-affirming, simple. Slave morality is reactive, creative. It was a reply to the domination by the masters. The cleverness of the slave class came directly from their suffering, not wanting to be slaves, but unable to overcome their masters with strength. And so the slaves dominated the masters with the spread of religion. Now laws start coming into effect for the first time in history, laws protecting people. And with the formation of these laws, there's usually been a religious agenda, a religious backbone. Nietzsche believes that the struggle between the master class and the slave class is still happening today, or at least in his time, 100 years ago. No one's aware of the struggle in the terms that he's spelling it out, as the beginning of these moralities were so long ago. There's a quote he takes from St. Thomas Aquinas that I feel is very relevant. "The blessed in the kingdom of heaven will see the punishment of the damned, in order that their bliss be more delightful to them." So there's a certain hatred of the damned there, a certain resentment. It's also important to point out that Nietzsche is endorsing neither slave morality nor master morality. He's just pointing out how he believes things happened back then. He's looking back in that direction, like I said, to reevaluate our own future. Tomorrow, I'll be covering Essay 2, where he'll talk about where guilt, bad conscience, and even memories came from. See you then!